Peace. What's going on, everyone? What's the deal? This is, want to welcome you all back to another Liberated Speaks blog talk radio session. Took a week or so off, We had a real good show for the Troy Davis ritual murder. That was it was very interesting. I had to take a few times to listen to that myself. A lot of the things everybody was saying was definitely on point. But tonight, we're going to deal with this Occupy Wall Street thing. Who's behind it? What's it all about? What's the inner workings of it? What does it mean? How has this come to be? What is the goal of it? And we're going to talk about some things that are relative to it as well, because there's a lot of earth change, a lot of changing things that are taking place right now. And if you're not hip to what's going on, then, to you it just seems like news. But all of these things are really offshooting from a central core. We have an anonymous caller with all ones. Peace. What's going on?
Am I on?
Yes, you are.
Okay, I couldn't figure out which call you were. All right. I'm trying to get I just tuned in. I'm trying to get your take on the Occupy Wall Street thing. Because I heard a part of your last caller, and I'm just trying to understand where you're coming from. Are you against the process? Or?
Well, no, I'm not. Well, as I was saying earlier in the show, I suggest when you get the opportunity, you listen to the opening statement of the show. But my whole idea, what I think about the protests is that number one, I don't know if it's the works and the organizationing and the organizing by agent provocateurs, or is it just a situation where this is something where everybody who has a complaint about the government comes in and complains about it? So that's my two things that I think about it off the top. The other things I think about it is, to me, it only has to do with the quote-unquote Federal Directive 15, white citizens, middle class. That's who is. This is who's out there in mass numbers. I know there's people out there in a lot of different ethnicities and national origins and so-called races, but it really just restricted to them because a lot of the other factions of society have been doing way worse, way longer when the economy crashed. Whether that's them on purpose, being of some kind of discrimination, I don't think any of that's involved. I just think that this is a problem between the upper white middle class and the lower, not middle class, high class, and the white middle class. The high class whites and the middle class whites have a beef, and that's what I think this Occupy Wall Street is specifically about. It is root nature. And then the other thing I think about it is that the people's intention may be well, but unless they're ready to deal with the toys that the federal government has waiting for them, with the microwave weapons, and just the regular toys that they use in riot control, then I think it makes sense if they're ready for that. But that's what I think about it in its totality.
I did want to tell you that there are specific demands. You may not have heard about it, and they wrote a constitution out on this thing, and you can get it at Occupy Wall. I think it's Occupy Wall Street at Gmail, and they'll send you a copy of it. And they have a list of demands that all Americans, could pretty much can get behind. I mean, the demands are not leaning one way or the other. They're more like, get out of war, and stop invading countries. I mean, there's a bunch of that, stop taking our money, those kind of things. I mean, you can get a copy.
So there is a political overtone to it. is what you're telling me.
Oh yes, absolutely. And their objective their objective is to take back the country for everybody, because the idea is that even if you can get enough people not to go to work, what are these people going to do? The government can't, force people to go to work. Or if you can get 1 million people on the streets, it's not going to matter how many, microwave guns they have or whatever. They can't house that many people at one time. So they're trying. Their objective is to get as many people from of the citizenry involved in this as possible, to say, look, we all, whatever political beliefs we believe in, we all have a stake in the country and America. And the idea that the ruling class and these monopolies and these corporations are taking control here is not going to happen anymore. We're just not going to allow that to happen, and that's their objective. Their objective is to get rid of that.
You're out there protesting? You're one of the protesters too?
I'm involved with it. I haven't been out because we haven't actually organized in Florida, I'm in northern Florida, which is where I'm from. We haven't actually created our particular rally yet, but I've been actually talking with people and talking with the people from the different places, Boston and New York and so forth. I think you're going to see this all over the country, because I think that everybody is getting to the point where they're pretty fed up with what's going on in the political system, and everybody wants a change. No matter everybody, we're not all going to agree. And when your last caller said there's infighting, it's not so much. I mean, there's disagreement, and there's always going to be dissidence in democracy, which is messy, But there's not that much infighting. The central theme is there from everyone who is out there, which is, I may not agree. Like yesterday, there was a thing about, whether you should hang the flag upside down or not. Somebody wanted to put the flag upside down in a protest, and other people were saying, don't do that. That means distress. And another group was saying that, another group of people were saying, no, we don't want to alienate anybody. So you're going to have those kind of disagreements.
So who were the people saying let's not alienate? Because that's a clear indication that someone wants to make it a racial thing, to me.
No, it wasn't. There's no. When I say a group of people, I mean they're of different political walks of life. There are some people who think that's insensitive. Maybe some of those people who were in the group who didn't want to hang the flag upside down were in the military, for instance. Okay, and they thought, well, maybe that's not a good idea. Maybe some people thought socially you're not going to get as many people to be involved in this. If you do that. So it's not. Go ahead.
My thing is, see, this is my thing. Do you want blacks out there? Helping. You want blacks out there? Because see, my thing is, it's interesting for me to hear you speak on this, and it sounds like y'all are having the same problems with your own people that us Moors are having with ours, and but we just see two different ways. You see, you gotta understand, my people been on the bottom for a long time, okay, and this whole protester thing, we did that in the '60s. Mm-hmm. So that's what we did in the '60s. Martin Luther King, all of them.
I was there, man.
I'm just saying that I already know he was. If you old enough, I know he was. That's why I'm saying that this movement is a reincarnation of that. And my thing is that that's not a good thing for certain portions of the population. Like, for instance, I'm not going to advocate Moorish people or quote-unquote black people, African Americans, Negroes, Latinos, to go out there and join that type of protest, because if you took a look at the last riots in London, and then you seen the report that the U.S. put out saying that if riots was to break out in the U.S., how they would handle it. On every one of the lists, they had how they would deal with the minority population. So for me, looking at this from an outside looking in with the United States, because America is North, Central, South America. The United States is the organization, the government that operates in North America. The fact is that to these are segments of the population that are already targeted for anything. So to go and join that type of protest, no matter how noble it may be that y'all are, protesting, it'd be of a bigger danger because they will be the first to get beat up and arrested and labeled domestic terrorists. Because I'm telling you, that's what they plan on labeling all of this activity if it gets out of hand. It's going to get labeled, as domestic terrorists, and they already labeling the right-wing Christians and other segments of the white population in the United States as such as well. So the thing is that at this point, it's like I can't advocate my people aligning with that cause because it's too risky for them. And then, like you said, you was marching in the 60s. Like, our people marched before together, and we still came out on the short end of the stick. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's just on a negotiation level. It's not something I advocated for definitely for the white population of the U.S. of the United States to definitely make their voices be heard. I advocated. I just think this is one of the things my people, should sit back and watch because, we've been in plenty of situations where, other segments of the population stood back and watched us go through our trials and tribulations. And I just think that this is one of the trials and tribulations that y'all have to go through because when it fell the first time, when it fell in 2008, the first segment of the population that was wiped out was the blacks and Latinos. Mm-hmm. And there wasn't as much outrage like it is now until the double dip recession came in and it hit the white and middle class population. You see what I'm saying? And the professionals. So that happened in 2010. So now it seems to me that the U.S. government wants to treat all of its citizens, irrespective of their national origins or racial heritage, as slaves, as Negroes, as they did their Negro population. And I think that because a lot of the white middle class population realizes that now, that hey, they treating us like they treat these people here. Because y'all know how they treat us. Y'all know y'all can't. Y'all already know how y'all do, how y'all talk about us, and talk in y'all own private. Y'all already know how y'all do because we do the same thing. But the whole point is, that when that was going on with us, we was in that by ourselves. And there was a lot of watching going on. So to me, this movement, this Occupy Wall Street, to me, I think it's a great thing that the white middle class is doing it because all revolutions, when they come about, they come about from the middle class. They don't come about from the poor. But the fact is, when you want to ask the poor and the downtrodden to join your mission, it's like, it's not a favorable hand there because they've been at the bottom for a minute. You know what I mean? They've been at the bottom for a long time. And it's more risky for them to even get involved into this level of affairs because they've already been disenfranchised based on the drug policies, the war on drugs, and nonviolent offense crimes. So they stack in the prisons already. Then they try to peg my people with the whole terrorism thing when with the Nigerian boy flying into Detroit. You understand? So we already got too much scope. I mean, like if y'all read, like you said, they can't use the weapons on everybody. I mean, It's regardless of the people that's going to be hurt. Regardless, you may not be hurt, but people are going to get hurt. And you know, when your spirits are broken, your spirits will be broken. If they can break us, then they can easily break y'all.